Good evening, Tony Kranz, 1086 Hygeia. And I wanted to speak tonight on the subject of the Hall House. I was intrigued by last week's meeting. It reminded me a lot of a Kranz family gathering. I've got a lot of brothers and sisters, and I've got a former Marine who, kind of oversees everything. I've got a brother-in-law who's an attorney who gives us legal advice now and then. And there's every once in a while a tinge of dysfunctionality. And last week's meeting, when we were talking about the Hall House, there was Jerome on the one hand, Councilman Stocks on the one hand, talking about how the Hall House there was 9 years to discuss it, and it's all been decided, and so on and so forth. And there was Councilwoman Houlihan, who pointed out that she's been trying to get it agendized, and it has never been agendized. So I got to looking at some of the old agendas and meeting minutes, and I thought it interesting. It's hard to read that there, but that area that I've circled here this is from the meeting minutes of October 22nd, 08. It says Gallagher amended the motion to include in the original motion, Stock seconded, to preserve the hall residence for possible future use. So in this way, your meetings are different than the Kranz family gatherings because we don't take minutes. So we've got the advantage of the minutes here, which says very clearly that the idea is to salvage the house. We also don't do video of our gatherings. The video from October 2109, the agenda, the minutes are there, but the video is actually much more revealing because Mayor Gallagher spends a little bit of time talking about a sugar daddy and the possible existence of a sugar daddy to pay for the restoration of the Hall House, and and there's all this kind of semi-mysterious what might happen with the Hall House. But in the meantime, there's no determination or nothing that overrides the original meeting minutes that is going to indicate that the Hall House will be destroyed. Finally, the staff report from last week says, parenthetically, the Hall House is going to be destroyed, which it's a shame. This is not a good way to do business. It's it's not making decisions in an informed way. It should have been agendized. There should have been staff sent out to explore any of the alternatives that might be in existence, including creating some sort of artistic residence or, place for meetings or weddings or whatever. But let's have the council be prepared to make informed decisions about things like this. The good news is that it's not over yet. The house is still standing. So you could make a call tomorrow to the demo people and say, don't destroy the house, get it on an agenda, have your staff put together a report, and let's make a decision that's informed. Thank you.
The next is Jeanette Shires, followed by Lola Larson.
Well, here I am again. My name is, good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. My name is Jeanette Shires, and I'm here to talk about the error in the Hall property demolition contract. I was very surprised to learn of the City Council's action on October 22nd, 2008, removing the Hall House from the demo plans and preserving it for future use. This was proposed by Councilman Gallagher and seconded by then Mayor Stocks and passed by a 3-2 vote. The destruction of the Hall adobe should never have been included in the demolition contract approved last week. A lot of effort has gone into trying to rescue this house, which apparently was not necessary. I would like to address some of the concerns expressed by council members after the public speakers last week. One was delaying the start of the project. It doesn't need to be delayed. Plan ahead, just don't start with the house. Since the first phase construction contract has not even gone out to bid and the project is not slated to start till fall, this small correction would have no impact on the project schedule. As a construction project manager, my husband issues CCDs, construction change directives, all the time for changes in owner's plans or conditions. You simply notify the contractor to eliminate an item and request a credit. Since the house was not supposed to be in the contract in the first place, the city staff needs to either correct the original contract or issue a CCD. Cost to the city. A whole big thing was made about costs. New floors, seismic retrofit, ADA, and bringing it up to city standards, and on and on. Perhaps I didn't make myself clear. We're not asking the city to fund this project. We're just asking them not to destroy the house. What to do with the house? It was stated that we had no plan. Of course we had a plan. It seemed a little premature to present a plan before we rescued the house, but here it is in a nutshell. We would propose turning the house into an art center to teach art and make art. We want to use the house for community functions and art events. We would raise money through grants, endowments, donations, as well as revenues from class fees and gallery sales. We want to be the art in the park. The comment was made we didn't have any money and doubted if we could raise any. Last week you heard from your own Commission for the Arts, who stated they were willing to help with fundraising or anything else to reach their long-term goal of an art center. You also heard from the Historical Society, business persons, art associations, as well as a prominent architect who offered his services to help with the house. This was all from the efforts of a few weeks. Quail Gardens raised millions. Lux raised millions. I have no doubt our community can raise the funds, goods, and services to rehab this little house. Please don't underestimate the desire of this community to have an art center. In conclusion, in October 2008, you voted to keep this house for future use. It's what we've been trying to say all along. Save this house for future use. Mayor Dallinger, last week you said you wished you could save this house. Well, your wish is granted. You already did.
The next speaker is Lola Larson, followed by Donna Westbrook. Oh, Carolyn Cope will go first.
Wasn't that great, that picture program that those kids did? How timely is that? I'm Carolyn Cope. I live at 47 McNeil. And tonight I'm here representing myself. Last week I was here at the will of the Commission of the Arts. I'm a longtime resident, born and raised, second generation, and my children are the third generation. Boy, have I seen changes. Not like Lola, but it was pretty cool when I was growing up, believe me. I've seen beloved trees and landscaping bulldozed, and I've seen wonderful old buildings torn down. I usually don't come to city council meetings, and you hadn't seen me for a long time, I'm sure. But I felt you were all doing a good job. My 2 cents wasn't needed until now. I'm glad we had the Girl Scouts here tonight, and I'm glad they're gone, so they don't have to hear this. Last week, you three gentlemen voted to destroy a building, a house, a Weir adobe house. And we haven't touched on the importance of this particular building. They're made with the 30-pound bricks in the traditional adobe style. They're extremely historical in themselves. There are very few left. And they are the inspiration of the sustainable housing projects now. So not only does it have our personal history in it, it has historic value as the type of building it was. I was so surprised that after all the speakers that were here last week to save the Hall resident house, you went against the wishes of the crowd and voted to tear it down. I was sad. I was very sad. Until history came alive in the form of the excerpt from the city council meeting in October that Mr. Kranz pointed out. Thank you, Tony. Now I'm dumbfounded to think of what other wills of the citizens have played with changed or simply ignored. I feel like this was changed or simply ignored. What do you gentlemen have to say for yourself now? I think you should know what I'm asking. Save history, please.